All right, that's enough chit-chat. Sit back down. So remember to think of questions, because there's going to be a question and answer period later. Make sure there's lots of questions for Elisa, and lots of questions for Steve, and less questions for me. That'd be the best. All right, survey. Surveys are grand. I love surveys. So hopefully you remember last fall, you all did a comprehensive survey. And the most important thing is actually not the data. That's what I don't really need to talk about today. I need to talk about the most important thing, which is thank you. Thank you for filling out the survey. Does it make you feel better when you get to see the... There. Troublemaker in the back. Security, can you go deal with that guy? So thank you, because as we've said 1,000 times already tonight, the membership drives us, and we need to know what you're thinking. We really need to know what you're thinking. And when we get that data, that information you provide, the longhand and the check boxes, all percolates in our brain, and it comes out implicitly in our discussions at board meetings to make decisions. Well, what do our members want? That's what we're always asking. And it gets explicitly into presentations to third parties to say, well, look, this is the data. This is what our members want to do first, and then we'll do what you want to do later. But this is what we're supposed to do. This is what our members want us to do. So thank you for that. And thank you for the future survey, because there'll have to be another one. Because you've changed, the organization's changed, the environment's changed, and we need to be tightly in tune with where you want us to go. So thank you for the future. So we'll get started. 166 surveys completed, 126 by MOAs. 2 provisions before I get going. Number 1 is it's a survey, so it's not 100% perfect. I'm going to say a few things that are generalizations based on the survey results, right? There's errors of bias and statistical errors and stuff like that. So if I say we or you, your job is to put in front of that sentence, the survey says, according to the statistical analysis with a certain error bar, that this is true, or somewhat true. Second provision is there was a lot of data for me to pick from. I picked the stuff that I thought was interesting and had a nice story and was entertaining, but you can go and get your own story from that. So this will be, just one view of a very large, complicated problem. All right, so what do GPs do? No surprise, lots of us work in an office. And that would be the full-time office people, 45%, and then we add the part-time office people, and then we carry on and we add the other people, the locums, and very quickly, you're like, oh, like 75 to 80% of us work in the office. And then there's a small percent of hospice and other, which are the people who have focused practices, et cetera, et cetera. And what kind of services do we provide? Well, if we think of this group of red dots as us, our population, then about 60-some% say they do palliative care. And about 50% do home visits. Not all the time, but they'll agree to go. And about 46% have at least one patient in residential care. And about 9% do obstetrics. They must be very efficient, because they're doing a lot of work with a very small number of people. All right, carrying on with the things that GPs do. What about walk-ins, people who show up? 40% say, no walk-ins at my office. About 28% say, on occasion I'll have a walk-in come in. 19% say, I set aside some time in my day for a walk-ins. And then 12% say, oh yeah, that's all I do is a walk-ins. And if we look at sort of a 3-year span, which is what we asked you to do, think about 3 years. Most of us, which is about just over 60% of us, say the scope of practice hasn't changed that much. Okay, that's good to know. About 40% of us, 45, say patients' volume is about the same, but there's another 45 that say, no, patient volumes are going up. About 45% of us say the pay is about the same, and about 45 say, no, we're actually getting paid more over these last 3 years. So you can see there's some variety of opinion. You can find your own personal answer in there or draw your own conclusions. But the one thing is we all agree on, not all, 70% of us, is that the patients are more complex now. We asked you about your skills, just in 2 areas, and it was mental health and palliative care. And we said, how confident are you doing that work? 88 and 75% of you said, we're pretty confident doing this work. So that's good to know. We're providing some good service. And you can imagine that with all those successes, we could ask the question, well, how do you like being a GP? Well, there's a nice list of things that came out of the survey, elements of our professional practice that people are quite satisfied with. It's the 70% club. So these are the list of things that 70% of us are satisfied with in our professional lives. Practice setting, respect at work, relationships with other GPs and other health professionals, compensation we're pretty satisfied with, quality of care we provide, and office management. So we're pretty happy. But there are 2 hot issues where only 30% of us are satisfied. And that's time for administration and the ability to find coverage when we go away, right? I gotta go on holidays. I can't find anyone. What a pain. So speaking of time, though, time for administration, let's take a look at how's our patient per hour. So we surveyed, so you can get a sense of where you are. About 54% of us see about between 3 and 4 patients per hour. About a third of us are cranking it up to 5 to 6 patients per hour. Yeah, we're feeling it. We're going. And then we got the 6 guys who are like, just burning it. So you might fall somewhere in there. Now you can judge yourself, but don't judge yourself harshly. It's not nice. We asked the MOAs, because they participated in this as well, and we know they have the right answer, so if you average their answers, it comes out to 4.3 patients per hour. So with all that speed, it's not surprising that half of us are feeling a bit rushed, trying to meet that patient per hour goal that we have in our mind. But the other half are feeling pretty chill. And half of us don't really finish the day like we planned. I think that has something to do with that paperwork at the end. And the other half, once again, not doing too bad. So the lesson here is the guys on the right-hand side need to talk to the guys on the left-hand side and figure out how they do that. And Divisions does have some plans in the near future to teach us about how to manage that time and to be more effective and to get to that other state. And we have some guest speakers today that are going to teach us how to get to the left-hand side as well. So we know this is good and important, and we would like you to be chill like the left-hand side people. But the other interesting thing is that with those challenges, we still have this drive to improve. We know that we need to do better, and 70% of us, we need to do better. But the nice thing is not only are we keen on efficiency, but we're keen on patience. We say that we need to improve the time we spend with complex care patients as well as be more efficient. And you can just feel the tension between those two. But that's what doctors live with, and that's one of our special contributions to society. To that other burning issue, which was coverage. That's the problem where we say 47% find it difficult or extremely difficult to find coverage. We've got plans. 34% of us are going to stick with just get a locum. It worked for me last year. It'll work for me this year. 22 say, I know, I'm going to get another physician. That's a good idea. And 10% are doing something mysterious that they're not willing to tell us about dealing with this coverage problem. But we're going to get to you, don't you worry. But the exciting news flash is 34% have room in their office for 1 or more physicians. So those guys, those 22%, the second bullet there, they're onto something. They're onto something. Though this means that if we get more people into Victoria, we'll have more coverage because we have places to put them. So I was excited to hear that. But what about the burning question? The burning question. The burning question. Please, please, will you accept me? Attachment, that's the fancy buzzword for I don't have a GP, can you get me one? And what does the survey have to say? 70%? Get out. You're joking me. 70%? No. Well, if we dig into this a little bit, there's some special circumstances. But it's good. It's good because 70% means that there is capacity. And so what divisions is, and you, the divisions, what you guys need to figure out is what are those special circumstances? And can we match your special circumstances with a couple patients? And then we can start to get to, an average of 1 to 5 new patients per month, which is what people were saying they were accepting, that's 70%. So if we could just do a little bit of matching, and there's a whole committee dedicated to doing some matching, trying to figure out those special circumstances. We don't want to change the circumstances, we just want to find the guy that you're willing to take. If it's your only second cousins you're willing to take, we'll find your second cousins, and we'll bring them in, and we'll assign them to you. Summary. Most of us work in an office. We do some home visits and some palliative care. We're generally satisfied, but we struggle with some areas. We want to do better, and we have plans to do that. And there's new room for doctors in the city. And we accept new patients. And pregnant pause. Oh, there we go. We're planning on retiring? Is that the truth? No. 70% have no plans to retire, and those that do plan to retire, they're only going partially. So we're going to be around, so that's good. We have capacity, we have opportunity for more capacity, and we've got patients who need us. So I think this is going to work out well.